watch you while you sleep, holding you, lost inside every breath you breathe. I don't wanna live a day without you. I just wanna be the one that makes you happy, happy. I don't wanna live a day without you. I just wanna be the one that makes you happy, happy.
Good morning. It is Tuesday. I am barely awake. I've got my coffee here. I'm working on trying to get awake, and it's one of those mornings where I wake up and I've got thoughts going through my head, and it's funny the things that get stuck in my head that I have to kind of like mull over. And this would happen to be a comment under my Trolls on Parade video that I put up. This person misunderstood and thinks that all those comments were directed at me. No, not so much. Some of those comments I found on Religion Poisons Everything, the page on Facebook. You know, when you take a picture of a particularly stupid conversation and then you pass it on and it becomes viral. Well, some of those trolls were like that. They were pictures of screens of dialogue that someone took a picture of that dialogue, and it went on Facebook and it's been passed around, and that's how I saw it. I saw it as a picture of a piece of dialogue. It wasn't part of the dialogue that I was involved in any way. I just read it, and I'd say more than half of those trolls were okay. There's like 2 or 3 of the trolls that I did. I was just making up, like, the Dad, atheists are being mean to me. Obviously, that was me making stuff up. The one where I'm just gonna keep saying the same things over and over and over to piss you off. That was made up, obviously. So there were a couple that I made up as generic examples, or what I imagine. You know, these people must be still living with mom and dad. 8th grade mentality. The ones were atheists fail, man. That's what I'm talking about, 8th grade mentality, and that's flattering. For all I know, this person might be younger than that. But anyway, this person, this one that's created this new video, has inspired the new video, has written me, "I truly wish I was as hated as you are." Wow. Now, I don't know if this is a troll writing me, because it sounds to me like he wants a lot of attention, and maybe he thinks that being hated is attention. I honestly don't know why anybody would hate me, because nobody knows me on YouTube or anywhere else online. I have a few friends on Facebook, but most of the people I know on Facebook I've met virtually. So anyway, hating is a pretty wicked word. I think people mistake anger and rage as hatred. I feel a lot of anger and rage toward people that have played me, but I don't hate them. The closest I come to hate is the bartender. And again, I feel like I would never trust this person, but if he apologized, I could probably maybe take it down a notch, because I don't like hating. You know what's funny? This is what I find about hating. It doesn't do anything to the person that you hate, but it does fester in your own heart, and it makes you very negative. It makes you negative and hateful. And I kind of went through that when I was really angry with the guy who was living with me who left. I had this poison in me that I just nursed. I nursed and nursed and nursed. I resurrected the angry feelings and the hurt feelings, and basically tried to keep that anger, tried to keep what I thought was hatred in me. Truth is, I could never hate that person, because you can't care for someone as much as I cared for that person and hate them. I was actually, in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, I was trying to generate hatred. I was trying to manufacture it inside by reminding myself over and over all the things that I did for him and how it means nothing. And you know, if you go back and watch some of my earlier videos where I'm talking about this and I'm talking about him, you can just hear it in my voice when I start talking about how I mean nothing to him. And it's like I'm reminding myself all the reasons I need to hate this person because, you know, he did this thing. And I couldn't hate somebody that I cared that much for. And you know, and deep down, if I wanted to really say, it's like, I will always care for this person. Even though I mean jack nothing to that person. It's weird. But anyway, I think it's hard to hate. I think it takes a lot of effort to hate. And I read once that the opposite of love is not hate. If you hate somebody, I mean somebody who's able to generate emotion in you, it means there's some kind of, you know, they affect you in some way. I think the opposite of love is indifference. And, you know, anyway, so that's basically my take on hatred. I think it's a bad thing. I think hate is a bad thing. I don't aspire to be hated. It seems like a strange comment that this guy would say, like he does aspire to be hated. It's, you know, whatever, if you want to be hated, that's great, but I don't particularly need to be hated. I don't seek to be hated. I've given up trying to be liked. I've went my whole life doing backflips, trying to be as whatever I perceived the person I wanted to like me, you know, I was trying to do everything I could do to be that person that I thought they would like me, which is partly what got me in the thing with the bartender. It's like, oh, okay, this is a condition of our friendship. If you know, he wants me to show support, and if I don't show support in this way, you know, anyway. But I know, you know, the thing is, I launch into stuff like that, and I have a lot of new subscribers, and they're like, what is she talking about? Bartender? What bartender? Well, we don't need to go back down that road. Let's just say that there are people out there that take advantage of people when they have depression, and I've had a few people like that in my life, which is partly why. And what's funny about those people that took advantage was I thought they were friends of mine, and that's another thing that, you know, find the positives in everything. The positives to that is it taught me, don't assume ever. You know, these people were the same people that said to me, well, I don't like it. You use the F word as in friend. They didn't want me to invoke the friend word. Well, are we friends? They didn't want me to say that. Oh, don't put titles on it. Don't put labels on it. You know, once you put a label on something, okay. So I didn't do that. I assumed, and I never asked, are we really friends? I never called them out. I just assumed, okay, they're being nice to me, they're hanging out with me, they're giving me their time, must be a friendship. I assumed that. Just like I assumed that everything that my mom told me and all the people when I was growing up told me, I assumed that it was true. That's why I believed in Christianity for as long as I did, because I assumed it. And the one big lesson I learned from this whole mess of going through depression and having to find out that you should never assume a friendship, because especially if you're the one that feels like you're always having to go to them to see them, which is what I was doing. I was the one that seemed to have to make the effort, and that's a big warning sign. I have a hard time looking directly at the camera in the mornings. You ever notice that? I don't know why. I'm not really awake yet. It's like all I can do to generate enough energy to produce full and complete sentences. Keeping my focus on a camera lens the whole time is really hard for me when I'm not awake yet. So, anyway, if any of this makes sense, I hope it does. I don't know. I just think hate is a waste of time. I think life is too precious and too short to spend nursing hatred. If somebody wrongs you and it hurts and you want to hate them for it, it's, you know, I think a little bit of that is natural. The anger and the rage is natural, the hurt feelings. But when you let that consume you and you recycle those negative feelings over and over, and the thoughts that go with them that are often blown out of proportion or exaggerated, or, you know, a lot of it's imagination too. If I don't make sense of something, if I don't understand something, I will try to connect the dots in my head to come up with my own explanation for why something is the way it is. And a lot of times my theory isn't true, but you know, if you do that, you sometimes react to what you have theorized in your head, and you treat the person like they did that when in fact, you know, I mean, the thing with the bartender, for example, I have done that because this is all I've been given. This is all the information I've given. So A joined to B must equal C, right? Well, because everything sure seems like that's where it points to, but I've never had it verified. It just seems like that's the case. So to walk around thinking about and being angry about things that you assume or that seem like something, just so you can continue to feel this negative feeling. I mean, what are you doing to the person that's caused you to feel all that? We're not really. They probably don't even care. You're not even a thought in their head. They've moved on. And what you're doing is you're recycling this poison inside you that they've put you, that they basically planted the seeds in you, and you're letting them grow. So just a few thoughts about hatred and trolls. I don't like trolls. Some people have this amused tolerance about trolls. I don't think that it's I don't think very highly of people that deliberately go around and try to elicit negative or upset reactions in others. I think that's really stupid, and it always strikes me as somebody who's looking for attention. As for my videos, this person writes, maybe I should try making vids. That's an idea. I'll get back to you on that one. I started making vids because I didn't have anyone to talk to anymore when I lost getting to go to the bar where this bartender worked. And I still love people. I love being around people, and I love to talk to people. And this kind of gave me an outlet to get used to being alone. And so it's been very therapeutic for me. And I have actually, you know, I went a very long time. You can ask some of my long-term subscribers. I went a really long time with hardly any subscribers, and it never bothered me. It wasn't even something I cared about. It's like, you know, this floats my boat. I'm going to put it on YouTube. Videos of my birds, videos of my animals. There's a band called Rail that I've gone to their concerts, and I used to hang out with them when I was in my 20s, and they're still together. So when I go to their concerts, I'll video their songs and I'll put them on YouTube. I don't particularly, you know, it's just recently that I've actually started to make videos with an audience in mind, because I never really cared so much before. It's like, people find my stuff and they like it, cool, but it's not like, no skin off my nose if I don't have a lot of subscribers. That wasn't why I was doing it. I was doing it for me. It was just a way to share my life, and it was therapeutic for me. It was a way for me to kind of explore my own issues with depression and scars that I've had since I was a kid, and just things that I've had to overcome and still do have to overcome. You know, people like trolls are dysfunctional people, I think, and I am a dysfunctional person too. So, you know, when I make fun of people like the guys in the troll videos, in some respects I'm making fun of myself too, because in my opinion that's infantile behavior, and I'm guilty of that myself. It's infantile. I'm quoting a verse that I saw, or a quote from Richard Dawkins, and I don't remember it exactly, but he said something about he thinks it's infantile, very infantile, for somebody to really need somebody else to give them meaning in their life, and I'm guilty of that. So I am also guilty of infantile behavior. So it's hard to call a pot black when you're the black kettle. I came out completely wrong, but hopefully the gist is there somewhere. So, but it does annoy me that people actually want to cause upset in others, because why? You know, people are dealing with their own battles and their own hurt. I know that's a huge cliche, but why? You know, if you disagree with somebody, you can say you disagree with them, but specific or deliberately putting bombs down on their pages that you know will upset them. I don't understand the mentality. So, no, I don't particularly go looking for hate. I don't particularly want to be hated. I don't care one way or the other, you know. I enjoy being alone. I enjoy being solitary. I could probably be this way for the rest of my life and be perfectly happy. So, anyway, this got a lot longer than I intended, so, and I've kind of tried to stop looking at the smile meter on my camera because, anyway, makes me nervous. Thanks for listening and watching if you have. Hopefully some of this made sense. See ya!